Amazing. Cool. Any other non-wedding related people? Portraits and events as well. Cool. Which do you do more of? Like more weddings? More portraits? Portraits. Awesome. Cool. So, who out of you guys uses like a lot of flash? I know you do. I know you definitely do. Even a little bit, either way. Cool. Who is like predominantly just a natural light photographer? Awesome. Cool. Is that because you don't like flash? Is it because you are concerned about how to use it, or is it just something the concern? Cool. We've been there, like fully been there. That's awesome. So as we go through, I'm going to show you some images. I'm going to kind of show you like what I've done in those images, a bit of a deconstruction about how they've been lit, or how like the mindset behind while I was working on those images. I'm going to talk a little bit about kit. I'm going to show you some behind the scenes of like what we were thinking and how we came to get those final images. And hopefully I'm going to give you guys some kind of quick creative hacks. So like, you know, on a wedding day when you go blank, you've got like the entire wedding stood in front of you, or like a bride and groom saying, "Hey Ben, make me look fucking awesome." And you go, "Oh shit, I can't even like figure out how to use the camera, or the flash is not working." Or I'm going to give you guys like some creative hacks. So hopefully you can just push through that and create awesome images for your couples, which will in turn make you a more relaxed creative at your weddings, hopefully. But I want to ask you a question first, and that is, it's something I've been thinking quite a lot about recently, and it's, who cares what light you used? Like, have a think about it. Who really cares what the light is? Who cares whether it's flash, whether it's natural light, whether it's a flipping iPhone stood in front of a couple? Most people don't care. Do your couple care? Hell no. They just want you to make them look absolutely awesome for Instagram. Your venue, they definitely don't care. As long as you turn up for dinner, at the time you'll say you're going to turn up for dinner, they're all cool. And the dirty little secret is the only people that actually care about light and what light you've used is other photographers. And the quicker you get that out of your mind, the better photographer and more relaxed photographer you're going to be at weddings. And we're all guilty of it. It's part of life today. Like, we're all on social media, we're all on Facebook, Instagram, scrolling through incredible images. Like, I look at some of Tony's images and go, flipping out, how the hell has she lit that? That is insane. And I spend ages like working out like what this photographer's done, or what kit they've got, or why my images don't look like that. And you tear yourself down, and you do yourself a real you just get in your own head. And it's a really bad mindset to be in. Like, you start thinking, are you being judged by other photographers just because you're not using like the latest nan light, or you haven't got a Quadra, or you're using some tiny little like Amazon 15 quid light? Nobody really cares. As long as those images you're producing at the end are beautiful, it doesn't matter. But should you care? As a photographer, should you care what light you use? And it's a tricky one. My answer to this is both yes and no. I do care, of course I care, but I also don't care. And I'm going to, hopefully by the end of this, you'll see kind of why I don't care. But first, here's my story, because, you know, we all like a little story while we're doing these talks. So I'm not a photographer. I started my life as a musician. This is me. I'm a sax player. I have a degree in jazz, not media, not photography. Yeah, jazz, right? Who knew you could even do a degree in jazz? I used to tour the world, playing in like arenas and stadiums and bands, and it was a flipping awesome life. But I got bored of like bundling arrogant, drunk guitarists onto planes to get to the next city, and it quickly became a career that was becoming a hassle rather than something that I absolutely loved. And I just fell into photography. I picked up a camera and I fell into photography, and then I fell into weddings, and now that is my life. 15 years in, I've shot like 900 weddings, and I absolutely love weddings. I feel like I love weddings more now than when I first started. I feel like that's the right way to go. And I started life as a natural light photographer, and this is not going to be any detriment to you at all, but I started life as a natural light photographer because that's all I knew. I shot images, I shot really bad images of, oh, where we go, wrong way, sorry. I shot images of groomsmen herding ducks around, like shocking, like average images. I shot pictures of a bride with a dog. It's okay, it's average. I shot overexposed couples with underexposed chickens. Why? I can't like chickens, but I switched my chicken out for a metal peacock. I don't know why, but I was just shooting natural light weddings. I put groomsmen near a bush, made them crouch, and they looked like they're taking a dump in a bush. Total accident, and then they tried to pick the groom up. Like, I have had some epic fails. I even shot that, right? And you've all seen these images, and I shot it not because I'd seen it online and thought this is a cool image, because it's not, it's a shocker. I shot it because the bride came to me and she said, "Hey Ben, look, I really don't care what you shoot at my wedding, do what you want at my wedding, but can we have this one image of me with my bridal party and my husband running away from a T-Rex in the venue?" And I died a little bit inside. I said, "Fuck no." But to her, I was the most excitable person doing that shot. I wanted to make her happy. And do you know what? 15 years later, that's still her absolute favourite image from their wedding. And before Adam takes a photo of that, I'm going to get rid of that completely. But thankfully, I got better at shooting natural light. I learned that if I put Sarah next to a frosted glass window, her eyes would pop, her details would look absolutely stunning and flawless. I realised I could shoot basic details in natural light. Amy had kicked her shoes off. They wanted to just go and have a cuddle. And I thought, they're nice shoes, the sun is beautiful. You can shoot details. You don't have to always shoot it in the morning, in a prep room, with everything else going on. You can shoot details in beautiful natural light. And I also realised that natural light can be dramatic, it can be romantic, it can be atmospheric. You can be stood at the top of a mountain in Iceland, being badgered by amorous seagulls, and still create beautiful images just with natural light. You don't have to learn flash or any other style of lighting. But for me, the fear started to creep in. I started to worry that, like, what if I had a really dark wedding, or it was like a dark wedding venue, or I had to light like family inside and it was a dark place, and I didn't know flash. All I knew was how to put a flash on top of a camera and leave it in like ETTL and make very, very average looking images. Like, how was I going to light a dance floor? Like, I'd seen all these incredible images online and I just didn't know how to do it. And I was worried that I was going to be found out as a photographer, as a fraud as a photographer, because I was scared of off-camera flash, like really scared of off-camera. How was I going to learn off-camera flash? Like, what kit did I need? What settings do I use? Like, when do I bring a flash out? When do I not bring it? There's so many things with flash to learn. I was so scared of it, but I put it to the back of my mind, and I tried to let it sit there and not bother me. But the fear, it wasn't going away. A fear is not your enemy. It's merely a compass pointing you to the areas in which you need to grow. And I knew this, and I knew it wasn't going away. And I couldn't put it off any longer. So I learned flash. I learned how to put a bride in a dark venue in the middle of the daytime, surrounded by candles, shooting through a window, looking beautiful. I learned to light a dance floor so that every single time I showed up at a wedding, no matter whether it was an open-air venue or it was a tiny, shitty little village hall, I could shoot a dance floor and make Will look incredible as his mates impromptu picked him up, or already having the best time of their life at 4 o'clock in the morning. I learned how to shoot fireworks. So when the moment came, the most important part of John's wedding, as he found out he was going to be a dad and he was going to have a baby boy through a fireworks gender reveal, I knew I had to make these colours come through. I had to bring the blue light trails. I had to freeze his family. But more importantly, I had to freeze his reaction, because he was like an excitable, like more than me. He was like more than Adam. He was like an excitable puppy at a wedding. And I knew without flash, that wasn't possible. And in learning flash, it opened up a whole world of possibilities creatively. It meant that I could shoot Ant with his army mates, looking pretty cool in the wedding. I could shoot James having a drink with his mates, looking like an absolute baller. But it meant that a simple game of Jenga became dramatic, and evening portraits were so simple. Like, I can shoot this image over and over again, different varieties, different styles, but I knew a method that if I was stuck, I could just go to this, and Flash opened up all these possibilities, and I was absolutely hooked. I was hooked on Flash. I was obsessed with Flash. Simple. But it didn't last long. Before I bore you to death with more tales and more stories, let's play a little game. I feel like you guys need waking up. So we're going to play a game, and the game is Guess the Light. So I'm going to show you a few images, and I want you guys to tell me how you think it was lit, what I've done, and we'll take you from there. Was it natural light? Was it flash? Was it continuous light? Or was it another light? So the first image, hopefully a super simple one. Anyone want to venture? Natural light. Easy, golden hour. We live for this shit. As a photographer, we get to 7 o'clock in early summer, and we're like, let's go outside. I don't care what you're doing. Let's go outside. This is awesome. Natural light, it couldn't be easier, right? How about this? Yeah, easy. Natural light, right? It's a flash image, obviously. Freezing the bride and groom, light trails going around. I just lit it with a couple of flashes and then just used some shutter drag just to create an interesting portrait for them. How about this? What did you say? Composite flash. Look at this. This is a man that obviously knows his stuff. You're both right, yeah. So it's just simple off-camera flash, but added in the complicated element of a composite photo. So they're all lit individually, in different directions, trying to give it a little bit of dynamicy. Is that a word? I don't know. We'll go with it, shall we? Just to make it look a little bit dynamic. So yeah, that's a composite made out of off-camera flash. How about that? Have we lit that? Have we lit that? Blank faces. Natural light? Any more on natural light? Off camera? Okay, it's pure natural light. It just so happens that there's a white building somewhere here out of frame, and it's just the light from the sun. It's just kind of being reflected and light in Holly's face. Just enough for me to get away with not bringing flash out. It was a busy wedding. There wouldn't have been time to take them to there and bring flash and do all that at the same time. Photographers go-to super simple image, right? A silhouette. Easy win at a wedding. And you can add to a silhouette by I'm lying on the floor and these are just blades of grass. You can add to a silhouette by just shooting through things just to elevate it a little bit. But we know it's a super simple thing to do. You wait till the sun goes down, put a bride and groom in front of it. Happy days. How about this? Flash. What do you think? Flash? Any more advances on flash? We're all nodding at flash. You're going to say continuous. So this is a continuous light. So this was a super dull wedding day. Not because of the wedding, weather-wise, it was a super dull wedding day. But I love these woods, and I know the venue, and I knew the sunset exactly through there. So I had a big video light that I'm going to show you on some behind the scenes in a minute. Pop it up behind a couple, and it just looks like kind of beautiful, golden hour-y stroke, flash portrait-y, just that lovely kind of golden light that we want. But it's a quick win. If you need something just to, if you're worried about flash, this is like a gateway drug. You can get into using light by adding continuous light, because you can see it instantly in camera. You don't have to wait for it to go off and go, shit, I messed that up. You can see it straight away. You know that it's going to be beautiful. What about this image? It's dramatic, it's pretty punchy. It's way more punchy on the screen than it is on my screen, but hey-ho. What are we going with? Mouthful, Adam, what does he say? Natural, interesting. Jeremy's nodding at natural. What do we reckon? Light through the window? Cool, okay. You're absolutely right, it is a natural light image, and I'm going to deconstruct that in a little bit. So, another composite image. What did I tell you earlier about composites? What's this? Flash? No. Yeah. Cool. It's neither. It's not flash, it's not continuous, it's just natural light. So this was a super tight, little tiny room, half the size of the graphic stand here, really, really tiny. And the groom said, hey Ben, I've seen these cool portraits. Can we do one? And I was like, yeah, sure. I'll go and find something. He's like, no, can we do it now? Oh, everyone's here. I was like, fuck, I haven't got, my flash is in the car, I can't do the composite. So I sat them down, the light's coming through this window here, that's a reflection of the window. The light's coming through, it's really, really side lit, so it gives that dramatic kind of half face lit kind of pose, half face lit kind of lighting, but it just kind of worked for a very quick, simple idea. Under pressure, I didn't need to get the flash out. I could use natural light to create dramatic images. How about this? There aren't many more of these to come, I promise. How about this one? Cool. We're going with natural. It's good job you're here, right? You're the only person I can hear actually on the front row. So this is natural light. It's a multiple exposure at kind of late-ish sunset. So there's mountains like hiding behind them here, and the sun is just kissing the top of the mountains. It's not sunset because the sun goes down so much quicker when you've got mountains in the distance. But I couldn't see those mountains because they're all covered in snow. So I used a multiple exposure just to bring in some little elements of the mountains as well, and just create like a nice image for the bride and groom. How about this one? Continuous. Bingo. Give that man a bone. Look at that. So that is continuous light in a sense, in that it's not my continuous light. I'm just using whatever light is there at the venue. And I brought these two out just to have a little 5 minutes together. I was going to flash this. I was going to light this in the exact same way and have a flash here and then clone it out later. And then they stood there and I was like, this fairy lights that are normally like flickering, that, you know, these like LED lights that drive you absolutely mad at a wedding. They were flickering, they were going mad. And all of a sudden, I just tweaked my ISO and it stayed continuous and just lit Ali's face as Will grabbed her, and it looked just like a nice, simple, we're going to call it a natural light image in that it's none of my light. And then there's this image that caused me many, many hours of worry. The bride had bought smoke bombs, hoping for that like awesome Californian sunlit, beautiful day where everyone can walk around and play with smoke bombs. But it's England, and it pissed it down all afternoon. And it got to the point where it had gone dark. And I was like, I don't think we're going to be able to do your smoke bomb photo that you wanted, like in the back of my brain. But I knew she really wanted this photo. So I started sort of thinking, like, can I light smoke bombs and make them look cool? And I'd never done it before. And it was still raining. So I said to the bride, like, hey, we've got an idea. This was like 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. I've got an idea. I don't know if it's going to work, but if you trust me to come outside in the rain, we'll see what we can do. So we brought them out. How is this lit before I tell you the rest of the story? You've got a theory? Okay. Anyone else got a theory they'd like to put forward? Eve, have you got a theory? Okay. Christopher, have you got a theory? I'm not your mother, don't worry. Adam's about to give birth over here. What's going on here? This dude. He's not actually, but that would have been an awesome coincidence. So this is a. Oh, you got a theory?
There is a flash on the stand where that guy is, but if you got continuous light on the front.
Not bad. Nearly there. We're almost there. So I had videographers at this wedding as well, and I'm really conscious that I wanted to work with a videographer and make sure the couple had this in their video at the same time, because I knew we were only going to get one shot of it. It was still raining. Have I said that enough? So I wanted to work with the videographer and make sure the couple had the same image that I was going to deliver them. So I've got 2 video lights behind here. He's got 2 video lights here and here. So I'm kind of like backlighting the smoke to make the smoke stand out. We've got sparklers on the go from like some guests here. We've got 2 video lights lighting the bride and groom. We all came out, danced around in the rain and headed back in, and like a minute later that photo was done. But the headache that it causes you as a creative, trying to figure out how can I give my couple these photos. Hopefully by the end of this you'll see that if you have great knowledge of flash, these things become easy, or at least become problems you can overcome. You can figure it out. Last couple, what's this one? Natural light. Okay. This is at like 6:30 in the morning. It's minus 13 degrees. I'm at the top of a mountain by a ski. We got there by like a chairlift at a ski resort. They were still coming down off their wedding. Like they got up. They were like, "Yeah, we want to do this." They might still be drunk. They might be like slightly hangover creeping in. There's no room to be bringing like flashes and continuous lights, and like my hands didn't even work. The LCD on the back of my camera was going so slowly because it was starting to freeze. Sometimes you just have to work with natural light. I'd have loved to have put a flash like here and bring out some of the clouds in the background. 2 minutes before this was a kind of blue sky. The mist came in because it's a ski resort, and I think it just looks beautiful. Like sometimes you just got to work with what you've got, whatever that might be. And I'm going to show you this, the last one. I'll do this one. What's this? Going from everything we've just talked about, what is this? Off-camera flash. Off-camera flash. Any more advances?
Do I name the venue?
No, because I've just seen you post it. I've just seen your video from like 2 minutes ago. So this is actually a video light behind the couple, continuous light, but you can achieve the exact same thing with a flash. Like in this situation, a backlit with some smoke and like a nice intimate image, they're interchangeable. So just use what light you had available. So back to my story. Where was I? So yeah, I was, what was I doing? I was sax player, natural light, grooms in a bush, T-Rex. Okay, I was obsessed with flash, and it was becoming like a really unhealthy kind of obsession. I was at every wedding, because I'd posted all these photos on my portfolio on my website. I was obsessed with making sure a bride and groom like had a lit portrait, they had their speeches lit, they had their first dance lit, they had an end of the night like big epic flash lit shot. And to me, a wedding, it wasn't complete until I'd managed to shoot those images for the bride and groom. And if I didn't get the opportunity to shoot those images, it would absolutely play on my mind. I'd expect to get an email like days later going, "Hey Ben, where's our epic flash portrait?" It would play on my mind. I feel like I failed myself because I was obsessed with flash, but failed my couple because I thought that that's what they wanted. But then everything changed. Hey, remember these days? Remember the days where all of our work got taken out of the diary and we had no fucking money? Yeah, fun time. I'm going to take that off before you all get triggered. But I'm going to say this with a little bit of caution because I appreciate that not everybody was in the same situation. But we had a great COVID, retrospectively. Luckily, after like 12 successful years in the industry, Hannah, my wife, had been squirreling away some money, maybe to stop me buying more flash kit. And we bought a plot of land, like 6 months before COVID was even a thing. And then just as lockdown hit, we thought now would be an awesome time to start building, the most expensive thing we could do in our lives. So we built a house, or we started to build a house. I learned how to weld, I learned how to make things and do things. I sat on a bench, drinking a cup of coffee in a deep squat in a pair of Viva barefoots, looking like a bit of a dick. I dug out big lumps of concrete from the ground. I dug massive deep holes in the ground. I climbed trees with my old man, and he taught me how to take trees down, how to cut them down, whilst Hannah filled back in the, whilst Hannah filled, no! Where was my slick talk? Hannah filled the holes back in is what I was trying to say. But COVID was still kind of busy for us, in a sense that like we were doing all this, we were building and we were learning new techniques and trying to figure out how the hell we navigate the wedding industry as it was going, because none of us knew what was going on. But it was at that weird time where we could still have 30 guests at a wedding, and you could still shoot like up till like a certain time. You couldn't have a party basically. So I had a wedding booked in, and it was a bridesmaid of a bride that I'd shot previously, so a nice kind of like referred wedding. But I didn't really know her. All I knew is that their wedding was going to be super low-key, partly because it was COVID, partly because Andrew, the groom, had some health issues, so they wanted to keep it like really low-key. So they just booked like a village hall, nothing too exciting, no like crazy decoration. And then I got a call the day before, I think it was, And it was the bridesmaid. It wasn't even the bride. The bridesmaid said, "Look, we need to change the location for tomorrow's wedding. Andrew's not very well, so we're just going to tweak a few things just to make it a little bit more kind of friendly for him." And I said, "Cool, okay." And then next morning, she messaged me the new location, and the fear came back in a big way. I was, on account of this new location, I was like, what am I going to do at this wedding? Like, what was the wedding going to be? Like, I knew I wasn't going to be allowed flash. I knew that no natural light would be possible, probably. Minimal kit. I didn't know how much time I was going to have with the bride and groom. Like, how was I going to create these epic, like, nighttime portraits with a couple and make them look flipping awesome for Instagram the next day? Or shoot their mates on the dance floor? How was I going to create, like, epic dance floor images? Or put a bride and groom in a flower bed, because that's what you do, right? I was the guy that delivered these, like, epic flash images. And my brain was absolutely spiraling. Like, how was I going to be me if I couldn't be me? And this is the wedding where everything changed.
There is a house built out of stone. Wooden floors, walls, and window sills. Tables and chairs worn by all of the dust. This is a place where I don't feel alone. This is a place where I feel at home.
And it was at this point that Andrew's sats dropped and he had to spend some time with the doctors before he could return to the ceremony.
Out in the garden we planted the seeds. There is a tree as old as me. Branches were sold by the color of green. The ground had a rose then past its knees. By the cracks of his skin I climbed to the top. I climbed the tree to see the world.
sadly, Andrew died that evening in the arms of his wife. But why am I showing you this? It's not to bring you down, it's not to make you cry. It's to say that sometimes you can have all the knowledge in the world, all the flash kit, all the enthusiasm, but sometimes there's nothing you can do. Shoot for your couple. Sometimes nobody cares what light you use or how clever you are. Shani doesn't care that she doesn't have this in her gallery. She doesn't care that I used 12 images stitched together with multiple flashes. She doesn't care that I've done a clever thing and created a sunset indoors with a multiple exposure, a video light, even though it was raining outside. She does care that she'll be able to look back on the moment she married her best friend, and that he held her hand as he gave her a ring she'll wear forever, while her two best friends were there to support her during the best and worst day of her life. That is why I'm showing you this. Shoot for your couple. Think about what they want. Think about what they need short term. Think about what they want long term. Short term, of course, they're going to want images to show their friends the day after the wedding. But long term, those showy offy images, they're going to fade and be replaced by beautiful, simple images of loved ones that they might have lost. But shoot for yourself as well. Be selfish, indulge that creative side of your brain, shoot images that you want to shoot. For he who has overcome his fears will truly be free. Learn the basics of light, so it's second nature, and you'll be free to concentrate on the little details, like the gentle touch between a husband and wife, or the hands that hold you tight in your darkest of days, or memories of lost ones as your mum helps you get ready for the morning of your wedding, or the look from Grandad, the proudest man at that very moment, or a simple hug from an emotional friend. Slow down. And if you do slow down, you'll realize the little details matter. Little details like how a hand changes everything. Oh, that got quite deep, didn't it, for a little while? So guys, I'm going to give you, to lighten it up a little bit, I'm going to give you guys a few quick wins, and I know Chris is grimacing at the fact that I've just said quick wins. But sometimes you need a quick win at a wedding, something in the back of your mind that can get you out of the shit when your creative brain is frozen. Or maybe it's just not a very inspirational wedding, and you need to pull some inspiration, some creativity out of that wedding. So I'm going to give you a couple of quick wins. Here are my 4 quick wins, and the first one is to get prepared. Don't be complacent and practice like fuck. Like practice. Like photography doesn't come easy to some people. It doesn't come easy to me. I bought a flipping mannequin, I had it at home that I shot flash on all the time. I took it out in my car, out to the woods, and I shot flash. And I swear people thought I was fucking mental. But if you practice on a mannequin, then when you've got a person in front of you, it's a little bit less scary. And if you just make that person like your wife or your partner, your flipping next door neighbor, whoever is willing to stand there and have a photo taken 30 times over while you mess about with settings, on a wedding day it becomes so much more simple. And then on your wedding day, use your downtime wisely. Don't sit there moaning because the chef hasn't brought you your food again. This is a little video of a wedding venue I've shot a few times now. And my little top tip is to get your phone out, right? Get your phone out and put it into like pro mode, anything other than like an auto mode. Get it into pro mode and dial the exposure right down. And as you're walking around the venue, look through your phone. Look at little highlights of light. Like obviously, these are the obvious highlights of light. This is my phone, by the way. But then go through and look like, oh, this catches my eye. This could be cool. Got a bit of light. there's a bit of light, it's not enough to make these. I started thinking, well, okay, I'm going to put a bride somewhere here. I'm going to get some flash kit out and light her with all that light behind. And then the sun started to shine through this window a little bit. And I thought, just maybe, I don't have to get flash kit out. So I had a little look around, got my hand out, and this is my little go-to. I'm always walking around a wedding like this, looking to see, is there enough light to light skin? Does it look nice? And I thought, no, it's not. It's not great. It's not going to be enough to make that image look great. So I got the flashes, had them like sort of set up just out of frame, and I got the bride, and all of a sudden that sun came out, she did a beautiful spin, and that's the image that you saw earlier in that venue. Natural light, super simple. You don't have to use the flash, just because you've got it out and made the effort to put it there. Have a backup plan. So this was literally last week, and I'd gone to the other side of the car park, having a look like this, and I saw this bush, and it kept catching my eye, and it's nothing special, but in a sea of greenery in Derbyshire, where I live, a yellow bush was a novel thing. So I got excited. I thought, hey, if I put the bride and groom in the middle of this little dark area with a flash behind them, maybe I can bring out what you can't see in the sky, which is that kind of blue hour that's starting to happen. So I got the bride and groom, we walked all the way across the car park, and I put them in front of this. And to me, it didn't work. To me, this image doesn't work. And I started to panic. I started to spiral, thinking, oh, we've come all the way across the car park. I've only got one idea. What are we going to do? So I thought, okay, I'm going to add a reflection. So I put a reflection in below them as well, thinking maybe that would do the trick. And it didn't change the fact that this kind of backdrop wasn't really working. No matter what I did around it, and all the frills and all the bells and all the sexy little toys I could put in around it, wasn't going to change that. There was just something not working about it. So I thought, screw it. I'm just going to turn the flash off. So I did. I turned the flash off, and instantly it freed me up to think about their pose, which was the thing that wasn't working in the previous image. I could put the couple together. I could lead them to do nice little intimate moments together, shoot some closer portraits, and they'll still get the flash image. It might not be what I show on my Instagram, but they'll still get that image. And it just frees you up. If you just slow down, take a breath and think you don't always have to do the thing that you came out to do. You can create something else. You don't have to give up on an idea and waste a bride and groom's time when, as we were walking back, you could hear Proud Mary on the dance floor starting to play. So we were like, shit, let's get back. I didn't want to waste their time. But have a creative plan as well, because sometimes you don't have like that backup option. Have a creative kind of like get out of jail plan that's your go-to method that you know time and time again it works at weddings. Like I was saying with like shooting a flash dance floor, I know I can do that at any venue because I've learned the technique. This is the same for me, and it's a video light to create sunsets. And it was a bride and groom who booked me specifically because they wanted some golden hour portraits. And I thought, cool, I can shoot a golden hour portrait, but like we're in England, like this might not happen, and it didn't. It was like a cloudy, overcast day for the most part. I got my phone out again. I was walking around the venue thinking, oh, maybe the sun is actually going to give me a little win for a change. And I thought, okay, yeah, there's enough light to work with there. So I went in, got the bride and groom, rushed back out again, and as soon as we rushed back out, the sun dies. So I had my video light somewhere nearby, just in case. It's always set up in a corner somewhere. I grabbed it, I put it in behind the bride and groom, and I just started shooting, hoping to God that it was going to produce the sunset, that she'd paid extra money for me to stay late to shoot. And I think it looks beautiful. But I wasn't happy with just giving them that one image, so I thought, in true like me and dramatic and all that sort of stuff, I thought, let's see if we can add a little bit of extra drama into this photo, a little bit of like smoke, a bit of flame. Let's just see if adding a bit of smoke in, and it actually turned out to be a lot of smoke by mistake, and it wasn't like smoke bombs, and it started to do this, and I thought, oh, this could be quite a cool dramatic image, and it turned into something pretty cool, and I know they're absolutely in love with that photo. And that's to say, if you don't have any flash knowledge at all, you can still create good images. You don't have to be afraid, like, if you haven't got any kit, just look, get your phone out, look for light around you. And this is a classic example. I was walking around this venue, and I saw this table light, and I thought, It's all right. Everyone's sort of eating dinner, and I'm like holding the light. And I thought, if I could just stand the groom and put the light in front of his face, maybe this would make a cool, interesting portrait. So I did. And it started to look pretty cool. He's got a really moody look anyway about him. Yeah, he looks like a flipping... But it looks good, right? And then I thought, let's maybe put the light in behind him and see if we can add like a rim light and make that look a bit more interesting as well. And it was starting to look nice. But of course, I thought I'd add a little bit of like mist, a bit of smoke. Let's see what happens if I do that, just to take it a step further and give them something even more dramatic. Just because, like, I enjoy playing. We've got time. This is all done during dinner, so there's like time to play. And it looks cool. And I started to just get my phone out and use that as a reflection. And then I saw the bride at the corner of my eye get up from her seat to go to the toilet. She was going to pass, and I thought, screw it, I'm going to put her in as well. It wasn't ever intended to be a bridal portrait. I thought, let's just see what happens. And it looks nice. And then that ended up being just a nice portrait of her with a hand on the lamp as a lovely image of just her. And from one little tiny situation, I've got a cool guy groom image that he's going to love with all his mates. I've got a bride and groom portrait of the two of them together. And I've got a lovely bridal portrait. Just play. Weddings are fun. Like, play. Make art. That's why I don't care about light. You can make beautiful images that your couples will absolutely love in any lighting conditions if you exercise your creative brain. The comfort zone is the great enemy to creativity. And if you move beyond it, it necessitates intuition, which in turn configures new perspectives and conquers fears. So go and learn that flash. Give it a go. Keep pushing yourselves to be the best person, the best photographer you can be for yourself and for your couples. And if you take one thing away from this talk, a couple will rarely remember what you did or how you did it, but they will remember how you made them feel. Thank you.
Massive thanks again to Ben for the talk. It was amazing. Thank you very much, Ben. Ben will be around if anybody wants to have chats with Ben, ask him any questions. But also at the end of the day, there will be a panel Q&A up here with all the speakers from today, and Ben will be here for that. So he'll be joining in for that. Thanks again to Ben.
Mate, awesome. Awesome. Questions, message.